Surprise, surprise. Who would have guessed it? Another PSA return video. Today we have an estimated $3,500 PSA return of, obviously, Pokemon cards, with cards ranging from ultra modern all the way back to the vintage mid-era. So we're going to start from the modern and work our way backward. First up, we have the Lugia V full art from Paradigm Trigger, obviously overshadowed by all the other amazing Lugias from that set, but I just think this Lugia full art is really cool looking. Plus, it's Lugia, one of the most popular legendaries of all time. Next up, we have a Lapras Rainbow from Sword and Shield. I bought a couple Sword and Shield Rainbows before I figured out that it's probably not the right time to purchase those right now for me. Not a whole lot of margin there after the grading fee, but the Lapras, I love it. The Rainbows look very cool. Let's go for it. Why not? We've also got the Radiant Charizard in a PSA 10. We've got two Radiant Charizards in a PSA 10, and actually I just bought some more of these. It's a shiny Charizard, guys, and you can get them for like $4 a piece. Seems kind of crazy to me. We also have more Lugias. So we have the Rainbow Rare, Paradigm Trigger, Hyper Rare Lugia. I really like the Rainbow Rares from the Sword and Shield. I think the Sun and Moon ones are a little harder to distinguish the Pokemon out of. They're a little more muted, but I feel like they did a really good job with the contrast in the Sword and Shield era ones. I know people shit on Rainbow Rares. They think they all look the same. If you step back 10 feet, can you even tell which Pokemon it is? I think you can tell a lot better in the Sword and Shield era than you can in the Sun and Moon era. So I actually really like this card. We can't just buy the Rainbow when there's a gold version too. So we got the Rainbow version in a 10. We got the gold version in a 10. We got the gold Lugia V-Star. I think the thing that bothers me the most about the Rainbows to the Golds to the regular V-Stars is that it's all the same artwork. It'd be cool if they mixed up the artwork a little bit between rarities. But other than that, I think the cards look super cool. Now we're moving on to, we've got Giratina. And this is actually... This is actually mislabeled. I just noticed that. This says Full Art Arceus V-Star. This is actually Giratina, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do there. This one got the PSA 9 too, which is a little weird to me. I'll have to take a look and see why exactly this card would have gotten a 9. Maybe a little bit of whitening or maybe centering, but it looks pretty decent to me, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Definitely a PSA. 2 steps of quality control for PSA. 2! And they still get shit like this wrong. So, yeah, there is that. Unfortunately, that is not an Arceus, that is a Giratina. Moving on, we have the Giratina V-Star. Well, they got this one right, but they got that one wrong. You think they could have corrected that? But we did get the gold card, just like the Lugias. We did have to grab the rainbow and the gold. This Giratina gold card is just super sick. Now, talking about Giratina gold cards. Oh, we've got the gold alternate art. Giratina V-Star from V-Star Universe. This card is absolutely sick. I think the only other one that maybe I like a little bit better is the Arceus. I mean, artwork-wise, to me, one of the best Giratina cards out there. And I love the Arceus as well. Those two cards from this kind of 4-card collage are just super, super cool. But we did get this, and it got the PSA 10, which was actually a little bit of a surprise because this card does have a little bit of edge wear, a little bit of whitening here and there, but it still pulled the 10, so you never know what'll happen. We did get some cards that got 8s where I'm looking at it scratching my head like, what the heck? And then we got cards like that have a little bit of edge wear that got a 10, and it's like, all right, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, but moving on to the Sun and Moon era, we've got a Gengar and Mimikyu full art tag bolt. This one got the 8, and the only reason I think it got the 8 is centering, which to me is kind of crazy because the centering isn't that far off. Like, obviously, it's a little off on the top, a little off on the right, but apart from that, like, the card is minty as hell. I didn't see any whitening when I looked it over, no bends or anything, and it literally got 2 grades down for that centering. That's crazy to me. We did get the Garchomp and Giratina full art as well. This one's super cool. We got the 10 on that bad boy. And now we're moving into the rainbows. So we got some modern rainbows from the Sword and Shield block. Now we got some modern rainbows from the Sun and Moon block. We got a PSA 8 on the Mewtwo and Mew GX. Tough one to get an 8 on. I would have rather had maybe the Garchomp Giratina one get an 8 or something like that. But again, I think it might just be centering. The left to right, obviously on this one is a little bit off. But otherwise, you know, I don't... there's a little bit of whitening, it looks like. A little bit of whitening there on the corner. But yeah, otherwise, don't really see much wrong with it. I mean, if that other Giratina gold card is going to get a 10, then they must be, or or at least the grader I got, hitting centering on the Sun and Moon cards a little bit hard. Now we have the PSA 9 on the Miracle Twins Dragonite GX Rainbow. This one's a little off centering wise, but still grabbed the 9. I don't think there was anything else particularly wrong with it, so we got the 9 on that one. Next up, we got the Tag Bolt Celebi and Venusaur in a PSA 9 as well. This one, centering wise, looks fine, so there must be some whitening or some sort of edge wear or something on it that I didn't see, which is very possible, but it's also possible that I did see it, or it doesn't exist and it got the 9 anyway. All right, we got the Gengar Mimikyu GX Rainbow. This one also got the 9 again, just a minty looking card. It looks like there might be a little bit of edge wear up on this corner. That might be the reason, but it looks pretty minty otherwise to me. We've got the full art Garchomp and Giratina. This one got the 10, so this one is very off center left to right, but still for some reason pulled the 10 compared to the other cards that were off center from the Sun and Moon era. This one, very nice. We got the Pikachu and Zekrom PSA 10, very slick. Centering is great. Just a beautiful looking card. I do want to say that I am monetized now. The channel is monetized, so when you're watching these videos, you might get 1 or 2 ads. I'm sorry about that, but being able to monetize the content is very nice. I'm making sure that I'm taking off pre-roll ads for a lot of the videos going forward, so you shouldn't get hit with an ad right away, but you might get hit with some ads throughout the video. So I appreciate you guys watching those. Definitely make sure to skip them. I enabled skippable ads, so you should be able to skip them after 5 seconds or whatever it is, but I appreciate you watching those. And also, I will have memberships and super chats for my live streams. So if you guys are interested in supporting even more, memberships and super chats for live streams, super helpful as well. Let's continue with the cards. We've got the Espeon Deoxys in a 10, the Rainbow Rare. I really do like Rainbow Rares. I know that people are overly negative on them, I feel like, right now. You know, we're coming from Rainbow Rares to alternate arts, and you can argue, like, subjectively to you that alternate arts look so much better than Rainbow Rares. I would tend to agree with you, but to me, like, alternate arts are super freaking expensive, and these Rainbow Rares are really not, and it's the same Pokemon. A lot of times, these tag teams include 2 really popular Pokemon on them. I don't know. I kind of like the Rainbow Rares, so I'm gonna keep grabbing them when I see them at good prices. We've got the Umbreon and Darkrai, a GX. Gotta love Umbreon. That one got the 10 as well. And lastly, I love this card. This one actually is already sold. We've got the Reshiram Zekrom. This was a 10, and it has a Trainer N on there, which is super cool. The Solgaleo and Lunala from this set has Lily on it. That's a really expensive card, so probably won't be purchasing that one anytime soon, but very, very cool card nonetheless. All right, now that we're done with the modern of the modern, we're going to move XY and backward. First up, we have a Rayquaza EX. This is from Best of XY. Rayquaza is just one of those Pokemon that is just super popular and sells really well for me. So I am continuing to expand where I'm looking for Rayquaza, and so we've expanded a little bit into the X and Y era. We're going to see how well stuff like this goes, but we have a Best of XY, PSA 10, Rayquaza EX. Really cool artwork in my opinion as well, so definitely a good reason to grab this. We've all seen this card now from Celebrations, but this is one of the, well, this is still probably a reprint because it's in Best of XY, but it came before the Celebrations version, obviously. There's no stamp, but this is the Best of XY Mega Rayquaza EX. I really like on these Mega cards that in Japanese, the text is in English, and in English, the text is in Japanese. I think that's a really nice little touch. Obviously, this one got the Gem Mint PSA 10. Now we're moving into the vintage. We have a Skies Rayquaza from a movie commemoration versus pack. I have no idea how this was distributed, but I saw this one day. I think it was like 10 bucks or something crazy, and it got the 9. So that was super cool. Looked fairly good. I think that there was a little bit of whitening here and there, like on the corners and stuff, so I'm glad that it pulled the 9. But yeah, just a really cool artwork, and apparently it came in some sort of movie pack. I should probably look more into that, where it came from, because it's super cool. This one, oh, I love this Darkrai. I was really hoping that this one was going to pull a 10, but it did get the 9. I really like this artwork of Darkrai. Darkrai is one of my favorite, like, mythical legendary Pokemon. I love that he's just dark. Like, he's kind of scary looking. And he has some of the best artworks, in my opinion, of all Pokemon. And we have this Lucario. I love the artwork on this. I think this is a Saito artwork. It is. And was hoping for the 10 on this from the Hail Blizzard Lucario, but we did pull the 9. Still an amazing looking Lucario. Fantastic artwork. Love that one. I will continue hunting for that 10. We've got the Lucario GL Bonds to the End of Time. This one got the 10. Really happy about this. Really like this Lucario as well. I did grab like 2 or 3 Lucarios from recently. I don't really know why. They just kind of popped up and they looked minty, and you know, they got the 10, so that's nice. We did get a Luxray from Temple of Anger. This is a really nice looking card. I think this is, no, this is from a set. I was gonna say I think this is from a deck, but there's a different one that's from a deck. This is from the set, but yeah, really cool looking Luxray. One of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, I think. One of my favorite dog Pokemon, even though I think it's a cat. And then we have another Lucario. This is from the 10th movie commemoration binder. So this came in a binder with like 12 different promos of different legendaries and different mythical Pokemon and different just badass Pokemon. You can find the binders for fairly cheap, I think. They were bought up heavily during the boom because it was a really easy way to grade and make money because a lot of these binders were kept sealed. But I found one that was fairly minty, just out of pack, just as a Lucario. I think it was like $6 or $7, and I grabbed it and it got the PSA 10. Super awesome. Next up, the Infernape from Stormfront. Really like this artwork of Infernape. Of course, it is Matsuhiro Arita, and this card is just super freaking cool. One of Infernape's amazing artworks. I mean, Infernape just has amazing artworks, period. Over the course of the Diamond, Pearl, Platinum era, he has some fantastic artworks. We finally got the Swampert from Moonlit Pursuit in a PSA 10. This was one that I've been searching for. Swampert, one of my favorite starter Pokemon evolutions, and this one was super sick, and it has a really nice swirl right above the head there, right in the middle of the card. Very, very cool. Definitely love that Swampert. We've got a Garchomp. Not my favorite artwork of Garchomp, but still really cool. And PSA 10. I think this is the first time Garchomp showed up in TCG. There is a promo pack. I'm not sure if it came out before or after this Garchomp came out in the as a set card, but I think that might be the first time we saw Garchomp in the TCG. I also think this might be the first time Deoxys showed up in the TCG, but again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Temple of Anger, Deoxys finally got the 10. I think I've sent one of these in prior, and it did get the 9. But yeah, just a really, really cool Deoxys card. There's lots of great Deoxys cards out there. I tend to find this one more in decent condition comparatively to some of the other like promos and deck cards and stuff. This is the second time now. I've been grading these Dragonites for a while now, and this is the second time we've gotten the 10 in a row. I actually sent out 3 more in one of my other submissions, so I love this card. It's an Arita Dragonite, and it's just fantastic artwork, and it got the PSA 10, which is absolutely sick. Jirachi from Bonds in the End of Time got a 10. I don't know if I've gotten a 10 of this card yet. I definitely have gotten a 9 and an 8 from CGC, I think. But yeah, getting the 10 on this bad boy, super cool. Jirachi, again, super cute little Pokemon. Really like it. Now, our last 3 cards are of the god of all Pokemon. We've got Arceus. We've got this Arceus from Advent of Arceus. It's a Japanese promo card. And again, I mean, these cards are just so gorgeous with the hollow pattern that goes all the way across the front, the inlaid foil on the description area, and then the galaxy foil that you actually still have even in the actual artwork of the card. Oh, it's just so freaking sick. They look so good. I had a similar one, I think it was from the set, not the promo, that I have already sold, that came back in my last submission just like a week or 2 ago, and it sold almost immediately. People really, really like these Arceus cards. Now, this one is the PSA 9 we got of the Arceus Hollow from the Grass and Fire deck. Unfortunately, it got the 9, but it's probably understandable. I thought one of these might get a 9 just based on either a small dent or maybe some scratches on the back or maybe a little bit of whitening, but yeah, this card is sick. Very, very cool. And last but not least, we got the PSA 10 Arceus from the Grass Fire deck. Just gorgeous. They still have those amazing hollow foil patterns across the front and just stunning. If you like this video, you should check out this $10,000 PSA return I got just a couple weeks ago.